Hey YouTube, this is Ben Yessel. How's it going? I might make a few videos tonight. We'll see. Sunday evening. Just kind of relaxing here a little bit. Late Sunday evening. I know I've made some videos about this subject before, but I think I'm going to go about it in a different way. Well, I think I know how I'm going to go about this. So you guys know I'm really crazy about a website, 100 Healthiest Foods. You guys know that already. But I'm going to be honest, there's of course foods that they advocate consuming that I don't like. And go into why a little bit and kind of do some nuts and bolts of all this stuff. So all right. Okay. So here we go. It's a little warm in my house, by the way. I made a perfect turkey, roast turkey. It was just perfect, and I don't know why, but I love putting tartar sauce on dark turkey meat. It was just so good, so good. Anyway, so I still mostly drink water, purified water. I think it's still the best way to go. Purified water. It doesn't have to be, don't mess with the pH. Just keep it right in the middle. But okay, so in the 100 Healthiest Foods, the foods they choose here are, generally speaking, throughout the world, or at least, this is kind of Europe to United States to a lot of places. They tend to be cheaper, but not always well, it depends on the nation, but in general, these are among the cheapest and healthiest and tastiest foods that are whole natural foods. There are certainly others, and I'll get, in addition to the ones listed on this website, I'll get to that. But they have, the first one they have down here for vegetables is asparagus. Every single time I try to get fresh asparagus, at least it seems like it's sky-high prices. Maybe I could try going to try to find them at a cheaper grocery store, but most of the time, when I want to get asparagus, it's just really expensive, and I just don't agree with how expensive it is. But so if I find it cheaper, it's a good chance I'll get it. I certainly like asparagus. It's just kind of expensive. So I think for what you get, Anyway, so I'd still get avocado. Avocado is just like asparagus. I think avocado does offer, in some respects, more for what you pay, just based on calories and nutrients and things. But the problem with avocado is the brown spots are not a big deal, but it's just avocado is frustrating, more frustrating than oranges. I know when I get a good one, but it's just so I kind of get some and then I don't for a while, and I get some and don't. I just go back and forth, and you tend to get avocado at your premium grocery stores for sure, because the other ones just aren't worth it. You're gonna get some duds, It's kind of, in my opinion, it's a waste because they are expensive, and so I get very upset when I get bad avocado, especially those green bags. Man, a lot of times I have success, but anyway. Beet greens I have not had before. I'll definitely still try them. And I need to, just like beets, just want to know how to prep them so that they taste better for me, because canned beets are canned beets. It's not like cranberry sauce. Anyway, it's edible. It's just, ugh. I like fresh beets. I need to know how to make them fresh. So, I don't buy bell peppers. I know I have a piano student who loves them. I just don't. I mean, red bell peppers, maybe red or yellow, I might get them sometime, but I don't know. Just don't. To me, I guess there are sweet peppers I've actually had sweet peppers, and they might actually be more appetizing. Bell peppers mildly so. I just don't. Anyway, bok choy, it's perishable, but I still get it. And I have a little system here that I know which ones are my favorites. Broccoli, it's a no, just broccoli or broccolini or broccoli florets versus the other type of broccoli. It's just all that stuff is just amazing. And if I keep it frozen, it just never goes bad. So I always eat it, and it's always a good deal. It's always on my list. It's broccoli. Broccoli is always on my list. Brussels sprouts. You guys know I had them a while back. They're great for you, but I don't like the taste so much. I mean, it's okay. I had the whole bag. Maybe I just need... If I have a whole bunch of them, it's harder to stomach. Cabbage, it's a similar deal, but actually the taste of cabbage better than Brussels sprouts. I just don't use it very much. It's a stew type veggie. Green cabbage and stuff, especially. Carrots, similar to cabbage, but I'll eat it more. I'm eating more carrots recently. It's okay. Anyway, I'm still not crazy about carrots, but I used to be more crazy about them when I was younger. Cauliflower is like broccoli. It's the same thing. It's always on my list. If I can find it, I'm getting it. Celery, it's almost up there with broccoli and cauliflower. I'm usually getting it. Look for the green and stuff. Collard greens, try to get them frozen, sometimes fresh. It's often on my list. Corn, it's organic. All this stuff, by the way, for the most part is organic. I try to get organic, except maybe avocado, which doesn't have to be, but so it has to be organic corn if I'm getting it, and it's a yes. It's often on my list. Cucumbers, just perishable, so I have to get it to it quick, but yes, often on my list. Eggplant, no. I'll get it in Indian restaurants, and I'll learn how to make it one of these days, but yeah. Fennel, I'm going to try this again. I just neglected it last time I got it. I think I'll try putting it in salads. This is fresh fennel, not fennel seeds. Fresh fennel, I'll try putting it in salads or something. Garlic, it's definitely always on my list, or at least if I need it. I just get garlic powder a lot more. Green beans, if they're frozen, yes, they're always on my list. Green peas, a little less so, but get them frozen, they're sometimes on my list. Along with snow peas, maybe. Kale is a kind of a sometimes frozen. It's usually frozen, I get it, and that's okay. So it's okay. Leeks, because I don't do stews as often, I forget about it very easily. But they taste good. With mushrooms, I found that I actually, I used to stick with cremini and shiitake a lot because they're supposedly the healthiest. And when it comes to mushrooms, I just will get any kind now. It doesn't matter what kind of mushroom it is, because I find if I cook the mushroom with meat, I'll eat it. I just try to get to it, and it makes you feel amazing. So I think I'm going to be having more mushrooms in the future. They don't just go well in soups and things. You can put them with beans. You can put them with meat. They go well with protein and stuff. Mustard greens, I just found that they were too strong, so I just won't get them very much. I don't really need them. Olive oil is a yes. I'm finding it's versatile, not just with cooking on low heat, but also in salad dressings. I might use it with lime juice kind of thing. I don't need to use vinegar. I know apple cider vinegar. I know that vinegar stuff is great. I don't really do vinegar as much. Olives, it's something I used to eat more of, and I'll probably get back to it some more in the future, but it's a plus. I'll get it sometime. Onions are always on my list, or at least they're often on my list, but that's a huge yes. Potatoes, it's a kind of like apples. It's like, yeah. I think potatoes are a good starch. Romaine lettuce, I'm eating more of that stuff. It's definitely good. Sea vegetables, I could do better on that. It has a lot of iodine, but it's not super tasty. Spinach, frozen, yes. Don't have it as often as broccoli, but I have it pretty often still. Now there's a bunch of vegetables here that I still will get sometimes, like red onion, red cabbage, much less so, but red onion sometimes. Green onion very often. Watercress when I can find it. More kinds of lettuces, so red and green, and even iceberg sometimes, and romaine, of course, and other types of lettuces. There's other types, like endive and things that I'm trying as well. Artichoke, I haven't had those for a while, but the Trader Joe's canned artichoke hearts is always great. I've been out of the habit of eating artichoke. Zucchini, still great. Arugula, I'm getting more into arugula right now. And also, PC Natural Market's sauerkraut is amazing. And so I get some like cabbage from sauerkraut. And it's good for the probiotics or whatever, prebiotics or whatever. Summer squash I just don't get very often. I just don't make it very often. It's similar to zucchini, but winter squash I just never get. Sweet potatoes, I just forget about it. It's not as tasty as potatoes, so it has a ton of vitamin A and it's really healthy. I just not crazy about it, but I still will eat it. Swiss chard, if it's frozen, yes, absolutely. It's great stuff. It's similar to spinach. It's just nice to get some red coloring, red bioflavonoids and stuff. Tomatoes is kind of a I might get it on Blue Moon, but I just don't need it. Turnip greens, I've never seen them, hardly ever seen them in stores, so I'll try them when I can find them. And by the way, when it comes to vegetables, parsnips and rutabaga and turnips, I'll still be up for those, eating those and prepping them. Somehow I just don't. Because again, I'm not really into the stew soup thing so much right now. It's just, I don't really. Anyway, almonds, yes. Cashews, yes. Flax seeds, not so much. Peanuts, yes. Pumpkin seeds, increasingly, yes. Actually, I'm eating more of them recently. Sesame seeds, yes. Sunflower seeds, yes. I'm eating more seeds. Walnuts, yes. I also have pistachios and hazelnuts if hazelnuts are fresh. Never in the bulk foods. Hazelnuts must be fresh. Yeah, Brazil nuts don't taste very good. Also, so anyway, you can handle a few of them. Pecans, also I don't really do pecans. So I have plenty of nuts. I don't eat that other stuff, and I don't really do chia seeds or flax seeds or again I mentioned that, or hemp seeds. Or if you eat enough seeds and nuts, I think you're fine. That stuff. So this is just again my diet. You guys might be different. So I just don't blend stuff still. Okay, getting to fruits here. Apples is kind of a maybe. I feel like I don't really need to get them all the time, but sure. Apricots, it just depends. Most of the time, they're not very tasty. If they are fresh, it's probably from Persian grocery store. It's probably, like a dried apricot or something. Anyway, I have had bad experiences with apricots that are fresh before, unless they're PCC Natural Markets, So, bananas is kind of just like apples. It's a maybe. Blueberries, yes, but especially in summer. Cantaloupe, no. Cranberries, no. Unless it's cranberry sauce or cranberry juice, which is more appetizing, but it's more sugar. So, anyway. Figs, no, because they're not very high quality in temperate regions. Grapefruit, it's always a maybe, but not really crazy about the super sour stuff, but it's okay. Grapes, yes, of all kinds, especially darker, purple, black, whatever you call it. I also go for all the varieties of oranges, like tangerines, tangelos, and mandarins, but again, you're going to have to be choosy about your quality there sometimes, depending on what store you're going to. Kiwi fruit's always a maybe. I know how to eat it so it doesn't go bad, and use the spoon to scoop it out kind of thing. You cut it in half and then use the spoon. To bother with the skin. But I just don't get it all that often. Lemons and limes are definitely yes. I'm eating more of those, definitely. Oranges, yes. You guys, that's a given. Dates, I haven't had them for a while. Might get back in more in the future. We'll see. Papaya, no. Pomegranates in the winter, yes, but not all the time. Pears are always a maybe because pears are often, it's hard sometimes to find flavorful pears. It has to do with the juiciness. It's always a maybe. Pineapple is maybe. It's just cumbersome. And, pineapple works better when you're having a big party or something, when everybody can eat it. Kind of like watermelon's the same deal. Even though watermelon isn't quite as appetizing as pineapple, it's in the same ballpark where it's just a big fruit. Plums and prunes is a maybe, especially PCC markets. It's great. Raspberries are absolutely outstanding. So, I definitely get raspberries, especially in the summer. They're probably one of my favorite berries. Strawberries, same deal, but strawberries you have to have in the summer, because if you eat strawberries outside of the summer, it's gonna be not so great strawberries. Raspberries that are organic, like Driscoll's, I think you have more success with outside of summer. So berries in general are thumbs up, huge thumbs up. I'm always up for berries. Cherries, same thing. As you know, pomegranate, again, just in the winter mainly. And we're going on. Okay. So with regard to beans, there's a whole bunch of beans. There's a whole bunch of these. Anyway, I'm going to go through. There's some beans that are not listed, again, the 100 healthiest foods. And some of these that I've mentioned already are not the 100 healthiest foods, but if you guys will go to the website, you'll know which ones I'm talking about that are on there. So let's just go through the ones that are on the website first. Black beans. They're okay. I just don't buy them. They're like, Dried peas, same deal. Chickpeas, same deal. Hummus is a little bit tastier with the garlic thing, but it's just like kind of maybe. Kidney beans is one of the better ones. Lentils, sure, it's okay. They're convenient. Lima beans, no. Unless you prepare them the Persian way or something like that. Or whatever, Indian. But miso, I don't buy it. I imagine it's okay tasting. Navy beans, yes, navy beans are like kidney beans. I definitely buy them. Pinto beans, they're okay. Soy sauce, yes, I just don't buy it all the time. Soybeans, maybe. If they're organic, of course, non-GMO. But probably not. I generally don't buy soybeans. Tempeh and tofu, same deal. It's always kind of maybe, but probably not. And I know about a lot of beans that aren't on here, like adzuki beans, mung beans, calypso beans, orca beans. There's a whole bunch of them that I've tried at PCC that are just amazing. But particularly I like adzuki beans and anasazi beans. They're kind of red type beans, but they're just, they're so good. So healthy, so good for you. So yeah. Okay, with regard to meats and all that other stuff, meats and fish and all that stuff. Beef I have as yes, but just I limit my intake, and it has to be grass-fed or close to it. Animal welfare rating of 4, at least or so. Chicken, yep, it's still one of my top guys, but turkey sometimes tastes better even than the chicken, depending. It's the dark stuff I buy. Lamb is still good, just watch how much I have of it. Turkey is debatably my favorite. Turkey is I'm just becoming more and more fond of really high quality turkey. It's just really tasty stuff. Again, the way I made it tonight was perfect. No cheese, no milk, no yogurt. Yes to eggs, but it's a pasture raised, but I just don't have it very often. I might go for a week without eating the eggs. That's fine. A whole week. That's fine. You have them here and there, and they're fine. You don't have to have them every day. Same thing with a lot of this stuff, but I just tend to have a fair bit of poultry as far as my main thing that way. So salmon, of course, still my favorite fish. I'll still buy canned tuna, just don't have it very often. I'll buy wild-caught shrimp, which is very expensive. Here and there. Cod is kind of a meh. It's anything with sardines and scallops. Scallops is kind of like whatever. But there's a whole bunch of fish I buy that again aren't on this list, like mahi, rockfish. Crab and lobster being more expensive, so I'll get them more rarely, but they're really tasty. Trout is more affordable. Halibut is expensive, so not as much for the halibut sometimes. And there's still others. But there's a lot of other... Fish is kind of like one of those things where I just sometimes try a lot of new stuff there. Don't get barley. I don't get brown rice. Buckwheat's curious about, but I haven't got it. Really, millet, same deal. Oats, no oats. Quinoa is healthy, but I just don't eat it very much. There's really no need, really, anyway. Rye, no. Wheat. Wheat is kind of like, I'll get whole wheat stuff, but on occasion, but I know it's still kind of like a unofficial dessert. So it's kind of like, I like the taste of wheat, but the gluten in it is just not good for you, at least for me. And then I'll get a lot of basil, get a lot of cilantro, especially fresh cilantro. Get a lot of rosemary, sage, thyme, and turmeric. And I'll get other types as well, of course, of herbs and spices. Black pepper, chili pepper, rarely. Cinnamon, rarely. Cloves, hardly ever really, so I just don't bake and stuff. But cumin, yes. Dill, a little less often. Ginger, a little less often. Mustard, hardly ever. I just don't use mustard very much unless it's, mustard you put on meat. It's in more liquid form. I say semi-liquid. I don't know. Not quite so much the actual seed, but I don't know. I'm just not crazy about mustard sometimes. Maybe I'll get more to in the future. It's it's yes and no. It's like vinegar, but oregano, not so much because I've booted out pork and bacon from my diet, so I just don't do oregano as often. Parsley, no. I don't like parsley. I'm not totally opposed to it. And peppermint is great. I like mint actually. Fresh mint is just amazing. I'm gonna buy fresh mint a lot. Put in salads. That's the secret of a good salad, I think, is putting things like fresh basil and fresh mint in there, and fresh watercress and fresh cilantro, and then you put some lettuce in there, and whatever else you want, like cucumber, celery. And it's perfect salad, perfect with a little bit of lime juice, olive oil if you want. It's perfect, just a little bit. But of course, there's all kinds of other herbs and spices I'll get, like marjoram and chives and amchor, mace, fenugreek and savory and tarragon, paprika, curry powder, and tartar sauce is my main condiment I like the most. So try to, I know that I can add some fat to everything, but fat's good for you. So you just try to get the higher quality sometimes when you can. But anyway, I realized with sweeteners, like healthy sweeteners, looking at honey, maple syrup, chocolate, and licorice, with those four, real maple syrup is great to have in a cookie, and we'll have it on a blue moon, but I just don't buy it. Honey, I buy a bunch of stuff for my mom. I think honey's great. I just don't tend to really consume it very much. I love the taste of honey. I just don't really ever need it. I suppose I could. It's always a maybe. Sure, but it makes you thirsty. It's like it fills you up really fast, and it's really sweet. So you have to go out running and stuff. Chocolate and licorice are very similar because in their raw form they're not appetizing, but you add a little sugar to them and they're fine. So they both, I think, honey and maple syrup are similar, and chocolate and licorice are similar. So I definitely will have dark chocolate and a little bit of licorice. Licorice less often. But I don't have, other than maybe chocolate, I just don't have very much of this stuff. And it's dark chocolate I try to focus on more. But I also wanted to mention in this video, there's always a question of how to make these foods taste more appetizing and different, different kinds of combinations of different kinds of things. I'm really lazy when it comes to rice. I had Singapore rice recently at this Chinese restaurant. It's just amazing. I still love having noodles. Asian food is great. And rice with, when I go to an Indian restaurant, rice is fine. For some reason, I just don't make it myself. I don't know why. I've had kind of this thing where I don't like buying rice because then you get pantry moths. So it's a good chance you can if you don't go through your rice. So that's my big thing there, I suppose. But even though I love this website, as you guys can tell, I just don't always jive with every little thing that they have here. And if George ever watches this video, Mateljan, sorry, if Mr. Mateljan ever watches this, he'd know exactly what I'm talking about. He'd probably say, yeah, go for the ones you like more. But the other thing, train of thought too with all this is, are you missing out on anything nutrient-wise when these are some of the best foods you can get that are the best for you? And I try to have enough of these that I'm eating pretty regularly that I have a feeling that I'm covering the bases pretty well, especially more recently getting more greens, more seeds, more beans, more nuts, but especially seeds, and more of the Dr. Furman stuff, and mushrooms. So it's everything. It's more vegetables. I'm keeping the onion intake coming. I'm doing better in mushrooms. I'm doing better in beans. I'm doing better in the seeds. It's the whole thing. It's all great. And every time I can resist having something that's not nutritarian, even though I'm not a nutritarian, every time I can resist something that would go, it's much farther from that diet. And I shouldn't say resist. It's more of a kind of a, this is a very psychological thing. But when I can just be happy with having some fruit, instead of juice or instead of soda, every time that happens, and I can just not think about that stuff, it's like getting better all the time. All right. I will catch you guys later. Leave me thoughts and comments below. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.